This time around at the world-famous San Diego Zoo, we are hitting up the very first exhibit beyond its gates, the Monkey Trails and Forest Tales, a nearly 3-acre multi-level trek through the tropical canopies and forest floors of Central Africa, Southeast Asia, and South America, replacing what was left of the 80-year-old bird and primate mesa in 2005. It's a product of the Heart of the Zoo Master Plan's Phase 3, and the final jewel added to this lost forest. Let's begin. Situated directly ahead of the entrance, the iconic Flamingo Lagoon, a very busy beach usually home to around 10 wading birds of the Americas, including rosy-billed poachards, white-faced whistling ducks, hooded mergansers, and a flamboyance of American flamingos. The lagoon was complete in 1954 and has been home to these bright pink birds that welcomed the guests ever since. And based on their breeding habits, that could remain the case for decades to come. In 60 years, over 170 American flamingos have hatched at the zoo, and according to their site, it's currently home to 90 adults. And as simple as it is, this continues to be one of the more popular areas in the park where visitors flock. And from here, that flock usually heads towards the Rainforest Boardwalk. Starting on the canopy, a monkey that's very different from the rest, the Angolan colobus, a name derived of Greek origin meaning maimed or mutilated, referring to their almost non-existent thumb, a primate's most useful trait. This adaptation is believed to help them swing from branch to branch efficiently. In fact, colobus monkeys are the most arboreal of the African primates. Now, I could tell you about their advanced digestive system, but that's for another time. In a very similar home, though I didn't capture much of them, I did spot red-tailed monkeys and mandrills, two monkeys famous for their size and coloration. At the largest and most detailed display on the trail, I'll be keeping it a secret for now what's in here because we will see it again from a much better perspective. And at the end of the boardwalk, a South American primate renowned for its mischief on the big screen, the tufted capuchin. With their charming antics seen on TV, this prompted people to want them as pets, which isn't really a good idea, mainly because capuchins need to be social, living in groups as high as 40 members, and they're often seen lightly biting each other's fingers, ears, hair, and even poking each other in the eye. Awkward and uncomfortable to us, but it's bonding to them. So you may be aware of their behavior, but you probably didn't know they were named after a group of Franciscan monks. When European explorers encountered the monkey, they couldn't help but think those tufts of brown hair looked an awful lot like a monk's hooded robe. Now back on to regular ground, in the enclosure that blends in best with the surrounding forest, lion-tailed macaques, aka the bearded monkey, is oddly characterized by the tassel at the end of their tail like that of a lion and not for their silvery mane. Though again, like the cat, is used to impress females and also helps them keep rain out of their faces. If you ask me, their shape doesn't quite suggest it, but they rarely come to the ground. But their bottoms are actually equipped with pads that help them sleep comfortably in the trees. Less than 3,000 can be found in the Western Ghats mountain range of India. Approximately 400 are in zoos, but I've been told numerous times that the lion-tailed macaque is being phased out of the AZA. Along the way is one of the many diverse bird cages scattered around the zoo. Sociable weavers are the stars here, but I was only able to see a crocodile bird, who are allegedly known for cleaning crocodile teeth. But speaking of birds, you'll get a sneak peek of an aviary that's very well known to the zoo community, but since it is not part of this area, we will be moving on. By one of the Trail's other entrances, a vibrant panoramic showcase that combines life in the trees with life in the rivers. On the right, hiding within the dense brush, George the slender-snouted crocodile, the least studied of the crocodilians. Much like the gharial, they have a narrow mouth that acts like tweezers that allows them to remove prey, such as fish, from small crevices. And appearing as if they're in the same space next door is the exhibit that makes the most noise around here. Roaming on the bottom, the pygmy hippopotamus, a smaller and ironically less aquatic version of their savanna relatives. If or when you're allowed to visit, you could find Mabel and her calf, a Kobe, who was born in April of 2020 in the zoo's first pygmy hippo birth in 30 years. And they are not alone. Rustling around above them are lesser spot-nosed guenons, the monkey with cheek pouches they opportunistically stuff with food. Generally, guenons are known to cope with other species, which makes sense why these two also live with wolf's guenons, given the name of the man who discovered them and not for their slightly fierce appearance from their prominent brow and ears. In the front of this setup, behind this wall, there's a variety of 11 terrariums for Angolan pythons, pancake tortoises, and others, but the main focus is usually on the West African dwarf crocodiles, the smallest of the crocodiles. And while yes, these hatchlings are dwarf in size, one day they'll actually grow to be over 5 feet long. I believe they emerged from their shells in 2017, which happened to be another personal first for the San Diego Zoo. Though I didn't want to get the full Monkey Trails experience, we have to do some backtracking. In the middle of the boardwalk, there's a set of stairs that takes you from the treetops down to the rest of the forest floor. The centerpiece is the country's largest known fig tree, and surrounding are the lower parts of the first habitats that we saw earlier in order of mandrills, colobus monkeys, the tufted capuchins, and the guenons and hippos, though the pachyderms cannot access this side. Now, if you were to head towards a third entrance, you'll also see the Brazos monkeys, one of the few primates that form mating pairs. And last, a series of 4 low-fenced paddocks, 2 on either side of the path, and the best part is they're all connected and taken over by the Babirusa, an unusual looking pig with a bit of a dental issue. Males have these distinct upper canines that not only grow far out of their mouths, but through the muzzle. They're used for digging and fighting. The lower pair is for offense and the other for defense. I say it's an issue because they grow towards the face and will penetrate the skull if they don't grind them down on their own. Now, with a face like this, you'd think they'd want to be alone. Males maybe, but as you can see, females and their young, for the most part, stick together. And that covers the Monkey Trails and Forest Tales. I finished here not because the path makes you, but because nearby, the next journey of the Lost Forest begins.